Hey guys, today we're in the garden and we're gonna plant some shallots. Yay, shallots! So we want to start off by splitting up our bulbs. You might notice they're already splitting for you. Sometimes you can't even tell that they're splitting because they've got all of this like this papery wrapping on them, but if you take your fingers and you just feel, you could tell where they've split. Like for instance, this one I could tell has splitted right here. So you could peel a little bit of this off. You don't want to peel a lot of it off, just a little bit, because you want it on there to protect the bulb from rotting. But you can peel a little bit of it off until you see that split, and then you can divide it right there too. Otherwise, you just snap them apart like that, and you've got a whole another bulb. And this one is split right here too. So let's take off some of this wrapping so you can see. I still have a little bit of a cold, you guys, so I know I sound kind of funny. So see, you can see that one was splitting too. So really, you want to split these because you want these shallots to get as big as possible. So you want to plant these a good distance apart so they can get enough nutrients for each of these. So ultimately, this one only looked like it was split into 2, but really I think it's actually split into 5. I'm going to show you right now. Oh yeah, look at this. So there's another one. That one in the bucket, and then this one is split in 2 now. So we're going to split that one. So now I've got 5 plants out of that one. So feel around, check them out, and see if they're starting to split on the inside, and split those up so you can give them some space in the ground. So if you're not familiar with shallots, first of all, what are you waiting for? Secondly, what are you waiting for? Shallots are amazing. They're kind of like a cross between an onion and a garlic flavor-wise. They're in the allium family, just like an onion and a garlic, but they've just got this really nice developed flavor. They're way better than onions, and they have kind of that flavor that garlic has that you just can't get enough of. And they're also really expensive to buy in the grocery store, in my opinion. Just for 4 shallots, it's right around $3 to $4 in my grocery store. So I buy mine from the Asian market. They're much cheaper there, and they have the purple variety at the Asian market, which is the best variety for shallots flavor-wise. These 4 are the ones that I got from the grocery store, and they were over $3. But I'm going to plant those too. And believe it or not, you can plant alliums that you get from the grocery store. I don't even rinse mine off. I plant them in the ground. I know a lot of people say, oh, they spray them with growth inhibitors, but those inhibitors don't last very long, and they're just meant to keep them from sprouting in the grocery store. They're not going to keep them from growing. So I plant them anyway. But the ones at the Asian market, typically if you shop at a smaller Asian market, they actually get their produce locally from other gardeners. So they're likely not sprayed, and you'll often notice that they're already sprouting sometimes in the store, especially this time of year. So some quick tips for planting shallots is you can plant these just like you would plant your garlic as far as when to plant, but you can also plant them anytime in the fall and winter, and they will still give you shallots in the spring, late spring, early summer. And you can almost plant them anytime during the year, just not during the summer months. At least here in Texas. So if you're going to plant these, if you're in zone 6 through 9, you can plant them anytime in the fall and winter months. If you're in a colder zone than that, you cannot plant these in the winter without some protection. So you may want to plant them a little bit deeper into the ground and cover them with a nice thick layer of hay to protect them from freezing. But I really wouldn't recommend them. I would just plant them in early spring, a couple weeks before the last frost date if you're in a colder growing zone. But here in Texas, in zone 8A, I can plant these anytime in the fall and anytime during the winter and even into the spring. So right now it is early January, and I'm going to get these in the ground. So you're going to plant these similar to how you would plant alliums, onions or garlics, same way. You can go to about 2 inches under the soil surface, and you're going to plant these pointy side up. So you want to make sure the roots are on the bottom side. I just took a pole and made holes in the ground on the side of this bed, and I spaced them about 4 inches apart because I want each of these to get as big as possible. But you can multi-sow these. You could sow anywhere between 3 and 4 in the same hole close together, and they'll keep growing and they'll push each other aside, and they do just fine, just like your leeks would. And then I'm gonna cover these with a little bit of soil and some hay. Now I'm planting mine really shallow because I find that shallots are more prone to rotting in the ground than any other allium. So you can see that they're still exposed on the surface, and then I'm going to cover them with a thick layer of hay. Luckily for me, I have sandy loam soil, so it drains really easily. But if you have a lot of clay in your soil, or a soil that holds a lot of moisture, you're going to want to limit your watering on these shallots. So if you're companion planting like I'm doing, you're going to want to companion plant them with a plant that is drought tolerant. Once your shallots get mature green leaves, you can harvest them and use them like chives. Otherwise, they're ready to harvest when you see some dieback on the leaves. And you can let them die completely back if you want to, but usually once you see a little bit of dieback, it's time to harvest. And you should probably stop watering for about a week prior to harvesting. Also, like your garlic, when these go to flower, you want to make sure you snip off the flowers before they develop too much. That way all the energy goes into the bulb. Once you've harvested your shallots, you want to make sure you set them out to dry for about 3 weeks. This is really important because you want them to cure so that they could develop that flavor. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we will see you in the next one.